Hey everyone, Lauren and Fibonacci from A Girl and Her Wool here. So today we are going to be showing you a recent finished object, which is my Altheda sweater. So stay tuned. All right, so Nacho did jump away, but you never know, he might come back. He's sitting right here. Anyway, so I do have a finished object to show you. This is my Altheda sweater, which is a pattern by Jennifer Steingass. It's a colorwork yoke sweater. You knit from the top down. It has a garter hem and cuffs, and other than that, it is a pretty basic sweater. It's a two-color colorwork sweater. And if you've been following along, I started off with a bit of quite an adventure in planning this sweater, but I have to say, like, I barely even remember knitting it. I knit it so fast, which is kind of incredible, but that is what happens when you knit things monogamously, right? So the sweater did knit up pretty quickly, and to kind of recap the planning, so I originally bought this yarn, which this yarn is Roma Phenol PT2, and it's in like a white color and then this rose blush color. I'll grab some labels in a few minutes, but I originally bought this yarn to make a sweater by the same designer, but it was going to be the Silver Forest sweater, and so that was a 4-color sweater, a main color and then 3 contrast colors. That sweater is a fingering weight sweater, and this yarn is supposedly a fingering weight yarn, but when I went to swatch it, I could not get the right gauge. I was only getting a DK weight gauge. So based on that, I ended up scrapping those plans, and actually the yarn then kind of sat for probably at least a year. I can't remember exactly how long, but then I was inspired to get the sweater on the needle. So I did a whole video actually of me planning which sweater I was gonna knit with the yarn, so you can go check that out. But I ended up picking one of her patterns again, except that it's a DK weight sweater, and that worked well for me. But from when I initially did the gauge swatch to when I was picking up the sweater, the problem was I never wrote down what needles I used on my gauge swatch. So even though I had the right gauge, I didn't know which needles I needed in order to get that gauge, and I did not knit a new swatch. I just guessed. So why even bother doing the swatch in that case? I don't know. And I have to say, I really like the fabric of the sweater. It's a warm sweater, but it's not dense. It definitely hangs, but it is very large. It is a big sweater for me. So yeah, it is definitely wearable. It just probably isn't like a work appropriate sweater. It's more of a lounge around the house or on a weekend type sweater, which I'm excited about. Usually with my hand knit sweaters, I feel bad sometimes just wearing them around the house. Like, they're too nice to just wear at the house, and I can only wear them when I'm going out somewhere. And so it'll be nice to have like a designated, it's cold in the house, just throw on the sweater, or just going for a quick errand, I can just throw the sweater on, especially in the fall. Like, it'll be a great, just like if I don't want a jacket, if we're going to, you know, like if you are going shopping in the mall or something, you don't like to carry a jacket around, you just kind of want to dress warm. I can wear it for that. So I'm excited. It'll be great with leggings. It's very long on me, but again, I just don't think it's like work appropriate necessarily, although in the work from home environment, it is perfect work attire. I'll never go back to wearing business casual clothes ever again. Anyway, so again, I knit this sweater because I was getting the right gauge for the DK sweater. So as I mentioned, the sweater I was originally going to make had 3 contrast colors, and so I was originally trying to find a sweater that would work again with a main color and the 3 contrast colors. And I saw someone's project where they did the contrast, so the white, what I have in white here, in a gradient, and I thought that that looked so fun, and I thought I would just do something similar with the colors I had. So I had the white, and I had like a taupey brown, and then more of a slate blue, and I thought I would just kind of cut at, you know, do the same spots where that other person kind of changed her colors, and then do it that way. However, I ended up loving the contrast of the white, that I just ended up going with that. So I'm glad I just stuck with the white. I think the white looks really nice. I think it took me probably, like you would think, the most time to knit the yoke, although I think, so I know I cast this on during my first cast on party, and then it kind of sat for a while I finished up some other projects. And then once I really picked it up, I just worked on this all the time. It was the only thing I was working on. And so I got, I think, the body done in a week. And I remember thinking, well, if I get the body done in a week, I should be able to get the sleeves done in a weekend. And I think I did. Like, maybe it wasn't the full weekend. Maybe I finished it like Tuesday or something after the weekend. But basically had a sweater in like 2 weeks. So that was nice. I still have leftovers. I definitely still have the brown and the blue that I didn't use. I think I have like a skein and a half of the pink, which I think they're 50-gram skeins, and then I definitely have some of the white left too. So I'll have to find projects to use those for. This is not a superwash wool. It's definitely a scratchy wool if you're sensitive. I think it's perfectly comfortable, but anytime I was sitting on the couch with my husband and it came near him, he didn't like it so much. It was itchy. So in terms of the needles, so I used a size, this is the funny part, so I used a size 1 for the garter neckline, for the cuffs, and for the garter hem. I used a size 2 for the body. That was kind of like my main needle gauge, was the size 2. So I went down the needle size for the garter, and I went up a needle size for the color work. So I did the color work in a size 3, and then I also went up to a size 3 for the sleeves. So I knit my sleeves on a 9-inch circular needle. That's what I tend to like with sleeves, just because you can go round and round and round and not really worry about magic loop. I'm not the biggest magic loop fan overall, and so it was nice to just go round and round, and I think that that helped. So even though I'm technically knitting the sleeve and the round the same as the body, I still find that I have to go up a needle size for the sleeves. I think the smaller needle just gives me a tighter gauge. I also did my own decreases for the sleeves. I think usually for sleeves you knit like a couple inches and then you pretty much decrease pretty regularly. I have larger upper arms and then pretty skinny lower arms, and so I end up not decreasing for like the first 6 inches or so, and then I decrease pretty rapidly through the arm. That works for me. I think sleeves are like socks, and you just need to figure out what works, you know, as your sleeve decreases. People would probably say the same thing about the body. This pattern didn't have shaping on the body, and so Nacho was happy to lay on the wool. Cats just love wool. So yeah, people would probably say that they do the same thing for their body decreases, or if they need to do any adjustments for the body. I tend to follow sweaters. I tend to lean towards sweaters that have a good amount of ease in them, and so I'm okay with not having, you know, the perfect fit, and it usually works out. So on this sweater there was no body shaping, and I didn't do any. Now that I see that it is super long, maybe it should have had some, I don't know. I didn't do any, and I think it fits fine, so we'll leave it at that. He has water all over him. What were you doing? So I think that's pretty much it for the sweater. Like I said, it'll be a great fall as an outer layer, and then in the winter it'll be a great kind of like comfy sweatshirt to just throw on around the house. And hopefully I'll take some photos tonight. It's 85 degrees outside, so we'll see. But yeah, pictures will come soon. And that is it. It's nice to have another sweater done. I don't have too many sweaters in my wardrobe, but I'm getting there. So more and more sweaters are getting done. Right now, in terms of what I'm working on, I have a crochet shawl that I'm working on, which is my first crochet project, so that's pretty fun, and that's kind of my monogamous project right now. It's involved a lot of ripping out and reworking it, as you'd expect as someone who's just learning, so that's taking up my attention, and otherwise I just have some vanilla socks on the needles. So I'm definitely on the lookout for my next kind of big project now that the sweater is done. I'm not sure if that is gonna be another sweater. I'm still thinking of doing some blankets. I've talked about that before, but I just don't know yet. So if you have a good next project, let me know. I'm also gonna be releasing some new fall colors soon, so I'll probably be working up some swatches of those just to show how they knit up. I am sure that you can't hear me talking and all you hear is Nacho purring into the microphone right now, so I hope that's relaxing background noise. So that is it for the sweater, but if you haven't checked out my latest video, that is the a dye with me video where we are dyeing the first skein in our fade kit. So this is an interactive dye with me series that I'm doing on my channel over the next few weeks, and the first video went up this week, and it's interactive. So after each video you can comment on the video for how you want to see the skein progress next. And in the meantime, you get to just see me dye and the dye technique. So it seems like people are enjoying them. So if you haven't checked it out, make sure you do that. And that is it. So I will talk to you all soon. Bye.